Today on Insight News, the first Black students on the University of Memphis campus are honored by the very place that once shunned them.
And also in campus news, the University of Memphis will soon be tobacco-free. This and more coming up.
Thank you for joining us. Recently, the city and the University of Memphis took steps to honor the Memphis State 8. Insight's Caray Oldham has the story.
It was a beautiful day on the University of Memphis's campus as more than 100 students and faculty honored the brave men and women that integrated this campus more than 50 years ago. Today, 7 of those 8 are still living and are more than happy to see how far this campus has come.
You just can't imagine. There's a world of difference from when I entered, 53 years ago and today. It's entirely different. You feel good. Then you just didn't know how you felt. You felt lonesome, you felt scared, but today makes up for all that.
Students filled the University Center's Fountain View room to hear from those pioneers that paved the way for African American students to attend this campus. Students say it's hard to realize just how courageous these people were.
Being here, being at the University of Memphis, we don't understand and we don't see what they went through. And we're blessed because we don't have to go through what they went through.
The granddaughter of Eleanor Gandy, one of the Memphis State 8, is a freshman here at the university and doesn't take for granted what her grandmother went through. After the brunch, an outdoor ceremony was held where City of Memphis Mayor A.C. Wharton, along with other elected officials, gave speeches and read proclamations claiming September 18th, Memphis State 8 Day. University of Memphis President Shirley Raines, along with student leaders, helped to unveil the historical marker.
More than 50 years later, a historical marker has been unveiled on the now University of Memphis campus in honor of the Memphis State 8.
For Insight News, this is Caray Oldham, University of Memphis.
Have you ever been walking down the street and someone blows smoke in your face? Well, pretty soon the University of Memphis will be under a new tobacco policy. Starting October 1st, a new tobacco policy will prohibit the use of any tobacco products on U of M owned or leased property. This means students, staff, and faculty cannot smoke on their way to a building, in front of a building, or in their vehicles while parked by a building. Here's what one student has to say about it.
Well, I think the policy is great. It makes it convenient for everyone else because, like, I hate it when I'm walking and it's like smoke blowing in my face and I'm not a smoker.
There will be 2 designated areas on opposite sides of campus that will allow tobacco use. Aside from these 2 spots, violation of this policy could have serious results. The university's goal is to get tigers healthy and reduce the amount of tobacco usage on campus.
Fewer tigers may be walking the pavement of the university if this trend continues. Kathy Brower has the story.
Since 2008, the student enrollment declined 2%, which is around 500 students. I got the chance to talk with Vice Provost of Enrollment Services, Betty Huff, about the sudden decrease.
We have looked at the data across a 3 to 5 year period, and the decrease this year looks fairly significant, but if you look at it across time, we had a very large bump last year.
Huff believes that there are many factors that influence students not going to college, including tuition and not having good enough grades.
We will spend some time taking a look at the high school graduation rate. We will be able to use some national data to tell us what's happening at the national level and begin to evaluate whether the decrease is due to just fewer students available.
On average, students have a 21 on their ACT and a 3.2 GPA. Even though overall enrollment has decreased, the honors program has hit a record participants of 1,848 students, with 469 of them being freshmen. The Office of Recruitment and Orientation hosts Campus Day multiple times a year to convince students to go to the University of Memphis. Saturday, over 700 high school seniors gathered in the Rose Theater for Campus Day. They got to learn about the university, explore different majors, and ask questions to a student-led panel. High school students can sign up online for the next Campus Day on November 3rd. Kathy Brower, University District, Insight News.
When we come back, a tree traps a family inside their home.
Outdoors have healthier lungs.
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
A South Memphis family is reeling after losing their home when a tree crashed into their living room. The Williams family awoke to the sound of what they thought was a car crash, only to find a tree had been uprooted by recent rains and had fallen just feet from where they were sleeping. The McClain family was trapped in the house. The Williams family had to abandon their home until their landlord could make the necessary repairs.
It may well be one of the most heavily debated topics amongst pet owners. Animal euthanasia is usually due to painful diseases or a lack of life support for the animal, but some pet owners are voluntarily choosing this means as a way out. Insight's BreAnna Boyd has more.
May be one of the most heavily debated topics among pet owners. Animal euthanasia is usually due to painful diseases or a lack of life support for the animal, but some pet owners are voluntarily choosing this means as a way out. Michael Simmons is the owner of 3 pit bulls. He originally had 4 because he purchased one as an adult, but was forced to put it down due to vicious attacks. The pit bull attacked a total of 11 people in 2010. Simmons claims the dog got out of the backyard and attacked on sight. Since the dog was put down, he enjoys spending time with his 3 pit bulls that he raised. He says they are great dogs that aren't vicious, as long as they are properly trained.
Like they're lovable pets and animals. My pets are not vicious at all.
One animal clinic is getting a large number of walk-ins from pit bull owners. Here at Pope Animal Clinic, owners are dropping off their pit bulls to be put down because they claim that they are vicious animals. Pope Animal Clinic is having people walk in with documents stating that their pit bull attacked people and they now want the dogs put down. Doctors have to have evidence of vicious attacks from the owners before they can legally be put down.
I won't put them to sleep just for that unless they've bitten somebody and are very vicious.
Once it's time, doctors use injectable anesthetic drugs. A huge overdose of the drug is injected to where the animal becomes unconscious. The drug causes the brain to depress and respiratory and circulatory systems shut down. Some pit bull owners are afraid, but there are still some that keep hope alive.
The Mississippi River levels are close to reaching a record low, with the next projection levels coming in October. The river is showing more of the embankments, which are walkable and are a benefit for a few to fish. The current river level is down 9.6 feet, and record low was minus 10.5 feet on July 10, 1988. IT and Security Director for Memphis Riverboats, Michael Blackthunder, said business is okay for now because the riverboats can go out on 5 to 6 feet of water. However, the barges from New Orleans and Ohio cannot run through at these levels.
The U.S. Department of Transportation has granted the Main Street to Main Street project an estimated $5.6 million to improve the streets of Memphis. Congressman Steve Cohen said the funds will play an important role in revitalizing downtown. The money will go to improving street lights, making sidewalks more handicap accessible, and upgrading drainage systems to prevent flooding.
When we come back, the FedEx Forum has received a $200,000 touch-up.
And a popular government program is putting cash in Memphians' pockets.
Outdoors have healthier lungs.
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah. That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
NBA and college teams across the country have a new court to grind on when they come to compete at the FedEx Forum. The FedEx Forum is getting a new touch-up with a new hardwood court. The court is priced around $200,000. The shiny new hardwood replaces the 10-year-old court brought over from the Pyramid. The new court can be removed in 75 minutes, which helps the NBA team's busy schedule go smoother. Well,
what do you think about the
new tobacco policy? Yeah. You know, that's just one of those things that a lot of students aren't going to be happy about, but you know, you got to deal with it.
Right. What about the FedEx Forum?
That's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these new games down there, and especially when the Big East gets underway. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you a big fan?
I wouldn't say a big fan, but I go to all the games and certainly enjoy just being a part of the entire atmosphere. What about you? Do you go to any of the games?
I go to a lot of the Tiger games, but not the. That's it for Insight News this morning.
Thank you for joining us. Coming up on Inside News, a new tobacco policy is in play for students.
And also, we will have the latest on the health condition of WWE's and Memphis's own Jerry the King Lawler. Stay with us. Insight News is next. Good morning and welcome to Insight News. I'm Caray, Oldham.
I'm Grant Milner. Thank you for joining us.
Don't you hate walking down the street and people walk by and blow smoke in your face? Well, students, staff, and faculty at the University of Memphis can breathe a little easier now. Soon, there will be a new tobacco policy in effect that will limit tobacco use on campus. Kelsey Simeon has the story.
In an effort to clean up the Tiger's air, the University of Memphis will be enforcing a new tobacco policy starting October 1st. This policy states that tobacco use is not permitted in any of U of M owned or leased property. This means students are not allowed to smoke in their cars, on their way to class, or while waiting on their classes to start. The university has assigned 2 designated areas on campus that will be reserved for students to smoke. The university will implement 2 locations where students are able to smoke, one at the south side of campus and one here at the north side of campus. I'm standing in between the CFA building and the Engineering Administration building, where starting October 1st, this will be the only place students are allowed to have tobacco products. You'll see a sign eventually that says designated tobacco area, which will be available for these smokers. The designated areas are at opposite ends of the campus, away from student traffic, but students have mixed feelings about this policy.
Well, I think the policy is great. It makes it convenient for everyone else because, like, I hate it when I'm walking and it's like smoke blowing in my face and I'm not a smoker.
I'm really against it because there's a lot of kids that smoke.
The goal of this policy is to create a tobacco-free Tiger Zone and to encourage students to get healthy. Violations of this policy by faculty, students, or visitors will be brought to the attention of police services. Kelsey Simeon, University of Memphis, Insight News.
The Memphis State 8 were honored in a great way this past week on campus. This marks the 53rd anniversary of the University of Memphis's campus integration. Student and faculty gathered in the University Center Fountain View Room for a brunch to honor the Memphis State 8. These are the first African Americans to be students at what was then called Memphis State University. 7 of the 8 are still living and talk to students about what that day was like more than 50 years ago.
Fearful, some concern about that wasn't justified. Some concern about physical safety, but I knew that I was academically prepared.
Ceremony was held in front of the administration building following the brunch. They have up with the unveiling of a historical marker.
Downtown residents are reluctantly saying goodbye to the very first Easy Way grocery store. The store is the anchor of the Memphis chain and will be closing its doors for good near the end of the month. Shoppers have slowly declined over the past 10 years, and owners are afraid that the location's success has run its course. The decline may be the result of downtown's economic growth, as public housing residents have been moving to other parts of the city. All the same, downtown locals aren't happy to see the store go after 80 years of business.
Yeah, it's going to be a sad day to see it go. I think Easy Way's been an anchor down here, and it's vitally needed. It'll be sad to see it go.
Without Easy Way, customers face traveling further distances and paying higher prices for fresh produce and other grocery store needs.
The Cooper Young Festival receives artistic appreciation from locals of the Cooper Young District to celebrate its milestone. 5 artists joined the celebration of the Cooper Young Fest by displaying 5 pieces of art, each at David Perry Smith Gallery's 5x5 Art Invitational to mark the 25th year of the festival.
I decided to do 5 artists, 5 paintings, 5 times 5 is 25th anniversary. So it kind of ties in with the Cooper Young Festival.
The only criteria are the artists had to live, produce, or work in the district. Along with various art, there were people from various cultures and backgrounds who were welcomed by a band that played music from Memphis's own Al Green, the soulful James Brown, to Grammy Award winner Stevie Wonder.
The streets between Front and 2nd downtown will display public park installations in celebration of Parking Day. Parking Day is the 2nd annual event in Memphis where empty parking spaces transform into parks. 16 teams of artists from Memphis nonprofit art groups, individuals, and businesses will participate in their own creative idea. The idea began in San Francisco, California in 2005 by Rebar, an art and design studio that turned a world of public space into temporary public park.
When we come back, a former University of Memphis student is hoping to help others with her new book.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
She is a former University of Memphis student with many talents and titles. Jessica Grace White's newest one, published author, and she wants to help everyday people release the greatness in themselves. Insight News' Joshua Bolden has more.
Former University of Memphis student, songwriter, artist, model, radio host, and inspirational speaker, Jessica Grace White has now added a new title to her list of accomplishments, author. White has written a book called Release the Greatness, Keys to Unlocking Your Hidden Treasure. Published in 2012, Release the Greatness is a Christian-themed book Grace wrote after going through some difficult situations where everything that could go wrong did. I'm here at Kingdom Creations, the first African-American woman-owned day spa on Beale, where White is inside signing copies of her book. Now, she told me she wrote the book to help others overcome obstacles.
I just felt like I just don't know. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if there's, hope for me after this. And it was very depressing. And so after that, I am a strong woman of prayer, and I love God with all of my heart. And I was in prayer, and I was talking to God, and the Lord just reaffirmed me of who I was in Him. And He validated me and spoke to me and told me that He had a purpose for me and that He had something on this earth for me to do.
Part of that purpose was to pen Release the Greatness, which was a cathartic release for White and helps everyday people focus on how they can overcome the obstacles they are dealt with in their everyday lives.
It was definitely something, a tool of ministry, definitely something that speaks to the heart. A lot of people are searching for things to fill a void and searching for solutions.
White revealed this is not the first and only time readers will see her name on a cover. White's book is available on her current book tour and on jessicagracewhite.com. Joshua Bolden, downtown Memphis, Insight News.
The Memphis Grizzlies and Memphis Tigers have bid goodbye to the 10-year-old basketball court brought over from the Pyramid. The new floor can be removed in 75 minutes, which helps the NBA team's busy schedule go smoother. The court didn't come cheap. It was purchased for around $200,000.
And when we come back, the latest on the health of pro wrestling icon and Memphis's own Jerry the King Lawler.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Jerry Lawler is back in Memphis after suffering a heart attack September 10th during WWE Raw. Lawler said he had chest pains the weekend before while in Aruba, but assumed it was indigestion. The 62-year-old Lawler, nicknamed The King, hopes to make a full recovery and return to WWE in the near future.
That's it for Insight News this morning. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you again next week, only on Insight News.